is Randy? Don't bring anyone mother into this. Yo, mom in the fucking stand!
And how long have you doing stand-up at this point?
Maybe two. You know, the first time I ever, not the first, but actually, the first time I ever got on stage, I was 15.
Really?
15. And
Damn.
the fourth time I ever got on stage, luckily or unluckily, I had to open for Sam Kinison.
Oh my God.
It was the
Fourth time ever?
Okay. I'm in San Antonio. 19 years old, I think. Maybe 20, 19, 20. And I did a comedy contest, not competition, at a bar. And there were 5 of us. And I had done comedy maybe 2 or 3 times before when I was in high school. And
But it's been a while since you've done it.
Yeah, but I mean, even at that age, you know, I was basically, the first time I ever got on stage, I asked the guy who put on the show, what should I talk about? He said, talk about what you know. And what I really knew is that my parents fart all the time. So I did 5 minutes about them farting.
Like our son, if he did stand up.
Yeah.
I closed, and it was so funny because my mom didn't know what I was going to talk about. And so when I walked on stage, I could hear her. She was in the front row with one of those cameras, you know, zit, zit, click.
Yeah.
And then I started to talk about her farting, and it got slower, like zit, zit, click. You know, right? But I closed with a story about how we were driving down the Mass Pike when I was a kid, and my mom was farting like crazy in the car. We were in the back of the station wagon with our head out that, you know, the back window.
Yeah.
And my dad pulls over on the freeway, and he goes to my mom, Ellen, you got to get out. And she was like, what? And he goes, you're really killing the car. You got to get out. She goes, what do you want me to do? He goes, I don't know, walk it off, something. So she walked up and down the side of the highway for like 5 minutes.
Farting.
Just letting it air out. You know, she's like a walk farter. Like,
man.
So those are the jokes I had done.
Yeah.
That's good. That's solid.
I go to San Antonio. I do my stand-up.
Especially for, like, by the way, a third or fourth
time.
That's
right?
Crazy, yeah.
So I go. I win because the bar was packed full of my friends.
Yeah.
Sam Kinison's coming to town. His opener, Carl LeBeau. You know Carl?
Yes.
Okay. So Carl's dad at the time, and I hope I'm not messing this up, but I think that's his dad had died of AIDS. I think is what he had died. His dad, but he died of something on the way to San Antonio. They need a new opener for Sam Kinison. So they go, hey, who won that comedy competition?
Oh my God, dude.
And so I get a phone call in my dorm room.
Oh my life.
Hey, do you want to open for Sam Kinison? And I believe the name of the club in San Antonio was Sneakers.
And wait, to be clear, at this time, is he a huge megastar at this time?
Huge megastar.
Okay. So it's not like, oh, that's a kind of, he's working.
No, he's Sam Kinison.
Right, okay.
He's Sam Kinison, and he's Sam Kinison to the point where he's at the point of his career where he's told everybody he's sober.
Oh, right.
He's not sober.
He's not, yeah.
But it was the 90s. You didn't have the internet. All you had to do is say, I'm sober. And people were like, he's sober. And that's the end of that. So talk about fashion, by the way. Here's how confused I am when I show up. I am wearing black cowboy boots with the silver ding at the tip.
No.
I have basically white acid-washed, pretty baggy jeans.
Oh, this is awesome.
I'm confused because I don't know what to wear. I'm wearing a blue button-down shirt, tucked in, with one of those thin black belts. I have my hair, in a ponytail, and I'm wearing that black leather jacket I showed you in the first over my blue button-down shirt, tucked into my acid-wash jeans.
God, you look like such a dick.
The biggest dick in the world, and I'm standing in front of a crowd. You know, as comedians, when people are there to see their guy,
and
it's
guy.
Kinison.
Yeah.
And it's not at a comedy club, it's at a rock club.
Dude, tell me, I have so much anxiety. Like, do you do okay? I'm so scared right now.
So, you know how much material you have fourth time on stage?
Oh, man.
Should you be standing in front of a rock crowd like that?
Sold out.
Sold out.
Energy
just
through the roof.
Because he's the first rock and roll comedian.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So people are not sitting down either. It's the first time, especially, I had ever seen anything like that. And it's the fourth time on stage. I don't know what I'm doing.
Oh my God.
No MC.
No.
No MC. Just voice of God.
No.
To bring out you?
Yep.
And to go up cold is like death.
And like they It would have been Carl probably doing just slinging jokes for like 25 minutes. Just
Well, that was my time, 25 minutes.
oh no!
Do you know how much material I had?
That farting bit?
Yeah, I had like 3.5 if I stretched it a little bit. You know what I mean?
I'm sweating right now.
Okay.
I am.
So Tom, I walk on stage, and
No.
this is how poorly it went. I'm supposed to do 25 minutes. This is how poorly it went. By minute 4, maybe 5, they had already stopped heckling me, and they were just talking to each other.
Oh, boy.
They had stopped. I was doing so poorly.
Oh, boy.
They had just
gave
they had
up.
I've
just
had that
turned
happen.
and just
Yeah.
started talking to each
Yeah,
other.
That's good.
So for the next 20 minutes,
You stayed up there that long?
stayed up there the whole time. I even repeated because I only had 5 minutes of material. I opened with that 5, closed with the same 5. Because I even said, I was like, hey, for those of you who came in late, who might have missed the first 5 minutes of the set, because I knew I had 5 minutes left and I didn't know what the fuck else to talk about.
How are you?
Oh my
How do they
God.
time sets then?
I had a little clock, one of those.
did?
Yeah. Okay. 2-show night.
No.
No.
Does anyone show you mercy? Like, are you pulled off stage and they're like,
Not only
"Whoa."
am I not shown mercy, Bill, his brother and manager,
Yeah.
clearly didn't watch my set. And
He's
after
like, how's it going, man? Everything.
after Sam's set, and Sam was visibly fucked up the first show.
Yeah.
So they were like, "Oh man, how's he gonna?" He was like, "Listen, man, for this second show, we're gonna trying to get Sam straightened out. So we may need you to stretch a little bit."
No.
Oh my God.
And I was like, I almost felt like saying, "Did you not watch the first show?" I was hoping instead of this, we would do some of this.
Yeah.
You know, we could shorten it instead of lengthen it. So he was like, "Look over to me at about 20 minutes, and if I start to do this, you got to stretch it out a little."
That's terrible.
They don't know they're working with a guy who's done the stand up 4 times.
At 18 minutes,
Yeah.
because I know at 20 I got to look over to him, I literally start to flop sweat. Because I'm thinking, if I have to do a minute more than I did in the early show, I don't know what I'm
Is
fucking
the second
doing.
crowd
Worse.
nicer?
They're drunker.
Oh, yeah.
It's late.
It's
They're
Kinison's
fucked up.
crowd.
It's Kinison's crowd. Second show started late. They've been waiting outside for 45 minutes, like caged animals, and they finally got let loose on me. It was a shit show. I ended up doing 30 the second show.
Oh
my God.
But I will tell you something. And it was maybe the 2 worst sets I've ever had in my life for a bunch of reasons. But you know what it did very early on? It just showed me I can, whatever happens, it's never going to get worse than that.
Yeah, you
Never.
can handle it.
It's never, because the same thing happened that second show. They just stopped paying attention to that I was even there.
Do you remember getting paid?
I didn't get paid.
It was just like a.
It was, do you want to open for Sam Kinison?
That was it.
$0.
Do you remember what you were saying up there?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I do. It was not great.
Hey, did you do crowd work? Like, did you try to?
I did one joke about how I had just read about how there was a guy who died and his wife still wanted to have, this is true, a news story, his wife still wanted to have babies with the guy. And after he died, told the doctor, how do I still have babies with this guy? And the joke was, I mean, that's terrible. Can you imagine being that doctor? Just like, all right. Right? So it was a joke about a doctor jerking off a dead guy.
Not a bad joke, actually.
Not terrible.
No, that's good.
And I'm messing up a little bit of the setup.
Fucking
But,
fourth time.
Fourth time, right?
Yeah.
but that was the closer.
Right.
So what you're talking about, which I agree with you, not bad for the fourth time,
no.
right? Not terrible, but not a closer. And
You must have had some people have some chuckles in that crowd, right? A few.
I don't think so.
No?
I think I had some. I think
How big was that venue?
Well, I think, looking back on things, they grow in scope sometimes. And it's been however many years I was, more than 20 years, but had to be rock club in San Antonio, 500 people?
Yeah.
Seems about right. Wow. But
That's rough, dude.
And I will say that is probably one of the tougher crowds to do because that guy was a rock star. So you've got that rowdy energy. You've got people high as fuck, drunk as fuck. Kinison was a screamer and high energy. So that's your audience. That's terrifying.